ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Hari Om. Mandukya Upanishad. We were studying 3 stages. Jagruta Sthiti, that is awake state. Swapna Sthiti, that is dream state. And Susupta, the dreamless state, dreamless sleep. The point that we need to study about it is that dreamless state or the deep sleep state is a state almost at the doorstep of stage of self-realization, and or it is consciousness but not reflected anywhere. So it has been also stated that that stage upon which, when the 19 limbs reflect what is elusive reality, we call it either the Jagruta Sthiti or we call it a dream state during which we are sleeping, but still we see dreams which appears like real. And again, here real, I mean tangible. So neither the Jagruta Sthiti, that is awake state, nor the dream state show or reflect reality because they are all transient. But in this, all the 3, there is something common. And what is that commonality? That you yourself are alive. In the dream state, it appears so real that unless you awake, we even didn't know that it was a dream state. Let me repeat what I said, that in the dream state, unless you awake or come back to a alive state, you didn't know that you were dreaming. But that shows that it was only you who was present while you were dreaming, while you are awake, and also while you are fast asleep. So these 3 stages, there is something common. So in that there is something common, and the common state or the stage is the reality, meaning common stage is the reality, and that is Shekhar Bhai, would you please turn your mic off?
This you unmute, that's fine.
So let me repeat, I'm sorry, I apologize for this kind of disturbances. But even while you are in deep sleep, unless you wake up, you don't know that you had deep sleep. When you were dreaming, it was also the same case. And when you were awake, in all the three stages, there is common that you are alive. So the aliveness, if I may call it, is the true self. And that true self is referred here in the seventh sloka as Turiya state. Turiya in Sanskrit literally means the fourth. But really speaking, it is not fourth, it is common in all the three stages. Now, in this sloka, it will tell us about what is it? What are the characteristics of the fourth stage? And still, it cannot tell what is the characteristic. As we go further, we may come across that. But initially, in the seventh sloka, let's see how profound dimension it reveals to us. So, let me take you to that slide. And once again, dear friends, bear with me. This is little heavy, but I will do my best. And still, if you don't understand, do not hesitate. We may take one or two more sessions. But it is very important to understand that during those days, when the science world was not heard about, and still how profound our scientists, our rishis, have gone into the details to explain to us, and so that we can understand today what is not consciousness. All right, let me take you to that slide, Sloka.
नान्तः प्रज्ञं न बहिष्प्रज्ञं नो भयतः प्रज्ञं न प्रज्ञानघनं न प्रज्ञं नाप्रज्ञम् अदृष्टमव्यवहार्यमग्राह्यमलक्षणमचिन्त्यमव्यपदेश्यमेकात्मप्रत्ययसारम् प्रपञ्चोपशमं शान्तं शिवमद्वैतं चतुर्थं मन्यन्ते स आत्मा स विज्ञेयः.
Okay. Nanta pragnam, not conscious of internal world. Pragna, the knowledge, the awareness, and internal world, which are those four stages of mind that we were looking at initially. That is the mind, intellect, ego, and memory. Not conscious of internal world. Na bahish pragnam, not conscious of external world. So this is not it. It is neither internal nor external. We'll look into some detail. No bahyataha pragnam, not the consciousness, turn both sides. Now, both sides meaning, you remember that something we were watching with the memory, which was it is also said to be dream state. So sometimes we say it is neither this nor that, but and nothing in between also. Now still you think you may not, it is not quite clear. So you can say, oh, this is not black, and the other one said this is not white. Understand, it's not white, nor it is black, but it is also not the gray. Now this is what it means, not the consciousness, turn both sides, okay? No pragnam ganan. Ganam word we have, I think, learned enough when we were dealing with the sixth stage, gana, the solidified, meaning in the deep sleep state. In the deep sleep state, it appears like solid. It is not acting on anything, or nor does it show anything. So it is just there. In other words, on that mirror, nothing is reflected. Not the awake state is reflected, nor the sleep state or the dream state is reflected. Not the mass of consciousness, not pragnana, not the all-knowing simple consciousness. No, pragnana, that is pragnana. Understand the word pragna, but this is pragnana. Pragnana, it is all not the all-knowing simple consciousness. No dream, no deep sleep, not this, not that. But still it may be doing something, but no, that is, knowing is also not there. No apragnana. It is not the knowledge, it is also not the ignorance. Understand now. No apragnana. So it is neither the knowledge nor the ignorance. Now we may wonder, what is it? And so this, and then he says, adrishtam. Drishta means seeable, perceivable, hearable, or audible, which has some sense, so you could smell it. But it is none of those and the feeling of touch, feeling of taste, none of those. So he says, what is it? Na apragnanam, and not unconsciousness. Oh, sorry, the na adrishtim. Many times in spiritual language, we use the word drishti, means seeing, but when they say seeing, that also meaning hearing, also meaning tasting, also meaning smelling. So really speaking, we see with all those dimensions. So being percept beyond perception, unseen, unheard, unsmelled, untouched, untasted. This is all of then unseen and of vyavaram, beyond empirical transaction, vyavhara, dealings. So I do give something and you give me something. That is vyavhara. And those good old stages, we used to have what is called the barter system. So because at that time, even though there was empirical, there were transactions going on, but money wasn't there. So in other words, you give me a pail of rice, I give you some vegetable. You give me this, I give you cotton. You give me this, I give you some leather, so you or make some shoes out of it. Anyhow, so that is empirical transaction. But they say it is neither that too. So it's not something in exchange. So then, what is it? And that's why, initially, when we were studying, we heard that it is not knowledge, but it is also not the ignorance. Then he says it's not knowledge, it's not ignorance. But then the third category, which is called a gay, unknowable. So this is unknowability. All the time we try to understand and we bring in the different argument. So he says, okay, when I meditate, and in the meditation, Swamiji, where would I go? Your mind wants to know what is that stage of consciousness, because that's what we want to understand. But there is no answer to it. And the little story that the last time we had heard, that the child is asking the father, what is this? So father says, don't you know it's a tree? No, but what is it? What is what? Tree is tree. But then, child want to know, what is that to which you call tree? He was also asking why the tree is green. It's not that you don't know. It's not that you know, but it is unknowable. So initially, when we were learning Mandukya Upanishad, or the introduction to it, at that time, we heard the story of King Janak, and he is asking, is this real or that is real? But the fun part is, nothing is real. And again, understand, over and over I'm mentioning the word real is not used in the common sense. In the spiritual scripture, it is referring to Sanatana, beyond time, eternal, non-changeable, non-unknowable. no dimension, ever present. This is a general guideline we get. But then again, toward the end, we'll say, but okay, I understood all these things. But then what is it? And that what is it cannot be answered. And still, we'll try to have some feeling as to what it is. But the experience is experience. So once again, going through those various stages, it is not internal, it's not external. It is not perceivable with our five senses, 2 eyes, 2 ears, nose, taste, and the touch, the skin. It is also not recognizable by those 4 internal organs, which is mind, intellect, ego, and memory. Wow. Then what is it? Then he says, it is neither that ghana state, solidified, no activity, nothing gets reflected on it. It is neither the knowledge nor the ignorance. And it is also not in between. And in between, it's little even hard to understand. But that can be explained it is neither black nor white, but it is also not the gray in between. Dear friend, we'll have to contemplate enough, and a time will come and your eyes will close. And I say, oh my God, I simply do not understand. And it's true, because it is a gay, unknowable. So anytime anybody explains what is consciousness, you know that is intellectual expression. And the person who has experience, he or she has experienced what he or she is. Because had there been something else, understand now, other than you, then it is something. Where I'm sitting, you could see the window. You could say it is a window, but the window is not you, it is outside you. What does it mean? There are 2 things. The thing which is not you is object. But right in the beginning, Rishi says that that is you. And also, at the time of Ishavasya Upanishad, we were also studying that, oh Isha, your brilliance is so bright, I cannot see. Can you gather your rays so that I could see you? And then he says, I could see means what? I can experience. Here, seeing is experience. Experience that is, you and I are not different. I am that. Tattvam Ashi. That I am. And that experience is not going to happen overnight, dear friends. More and more and more and more, you keep on contemplating. You keep on sitting for dharana, and slowly you narrow the activity of the mind, and it just remains one. At the time of understanding dharana, this is what we studied. What we studied, that the object will remain, even the observer who was doing dharana, who was doing so-called meditation, also will not be there. That doesn't mean physically not there. Okay, that doesn't mean you're gonna die. You are there. So the realized soul is the one who lives a very normal life, like you and I. They have a body, so the body needs to be fed, excretion needs to be done, body needs to be showered, body needs to be socially protected. But internally, he sees this is all transient. But I am just the experiencer. I am on which all these experiences, they get reflected. So quite often, all of us want to understand. Swamiji, please explain. You often say, I'm not the doer. Yes, because as soon as you assign doership, what really happens is you are building a relationship between the object and yourself. Myness and yourness. And as soon as you develop this relationship, what really happens is, if the situation goes where you're thought, you feel it's success, you feel happy. If the situation does not go per your thought, you feel unhappy. You feel failure. So, success and failure, ups and down, and that is what the life is. That's what the life we experience. But as soon as you reach to that clarity, reach to that experience, that I am the eternal one. I have a body, but I am not the body. And so people say, okay, no, I understand, but then tell me what I am. Go back to the slok 7. Na antar prajna or bahya prajna. Nothing in between also. At that time also, we should go to that little story that when you are in an absolute dark cave, you have a flashlight and you want to know what type of batteries are in the flashlight. That's the only battery you have. As soon as you open the battery, the gap, then the connection into the circuit is broken and there's no light. The consciousness, which is common in Jagruta sthiti, Swapna sthiti, and Susupta sthiti, in a sense that powers you. You want to know what is that power and would it ever be known? It will never be known, but you can experience it. It gets experienced, let's put it this way. And this is not going to happen overnight. And it may not happen in this birth. But as soon as you start reducing, keep on reducing the mental activity and reach to a state of silence, relative silence. But we have been bombarded with meditation is a state of thoughtlessness. What? Thought may come and go. But if you are not reacting, it is like the traffic on both the sides. Keep driving, keep going. You're driving straight. So thought to which we don't pay attention. But all of us have found out thought never stops. One after another thing. Never stopping is one thing. And you not reacting is different. So as soon as you just see the thought, feel like car to the left is going, car to the right is going. Hey, let them go. So the only time when you start experiencing just the witness then meaning you're seeing the scene on the screen, but as soon as the screen is taken out, there's nothing. No actor, actresses either suffer or enjoy. It's just the projection. So on the consciousness, things are being projected. And that's what, when they are projected, that means there is no pain, no misery. But as soon as the mind starts interpreting, mind starts translating, mind starts understanding, then comes up and down. So Mandukya Upanishad is trying to explain to us that the three stages to which we define our life, but the fourth stage is not a stage though. The fourth element which is present in all the three, that is the Turiya stage, which almost looks like Ganam, solid state, almost, but that is not. So what it is, the Turiya state is a stage at which or during which others may feel that, hey, you don't care, you are dreaming or you are fast asleep, even though your eyes are open, you're crazy. World calls you crazy. Why? Because you are not reacting. You're fully aware that I am not hungry, my body is hungry. I am not tired, my body is tired. I am not hungry, my body is hungry. So in order to develop this awareness, sadhaka, aspirant, the seekers have to apply this in every stage of life. My leg is hurting. Of course, you have sensibility, you have mind, you will feel it is hurting. But then develop the inner awareness that it is my body who is feeling the pain. I am not. It is my body who is thirsty now. I am not thirsty. It is my body who is feeling hot or cold. I am not. So sometimes you wonder that, boy, oh boy, look, I am wearing 2 or 3 heavy clothes, thermal and underwears, and on top of a couple layers of clothes, and on that I have overcoat and head is covered and ears are, and still I feel cold. How about this guy? He must be crazy. But then he has the awareness that it is my body who is feeling cold. I am not. So as soon as that awareness comes, it doesn't mean that he is not feeling, but he is not reacting, that's all. And we are reacting. When one gets stuck in the traffic, people can honk and curse and do this and that and make phone calls and listen to the music and whatnot. The other guy is simply sitting, doing nothing. Why? Because it's just the traffic. He is not in a reactive state. He is, even though he is, but he is not the driver. Body is driving. So with this 7th sloka, of course, there is elaborate example that I'm going to pretty soon share with you. But what I was explaining you, Ganam and Gnanam, Pragnanam, Apragnanam, all those were opposite and nothing in between. So this, nothing in between. And take this example of black and white and gray. That way we come to know, otherwise our commonwealth think, oh no, come on. It has to be either dark or bright. So it is neither dark nor bright. Then what is it? Our Rishi and this scripture goes even a step further. What is that step further? When he says that it is neither night nor it is day. And all of us will buy that. It has to be either night or it has to be during day. No. But it is also not that Sandhi Kala. Sandhi, where they meet together, that is either dawn or the early morning or the evening side, the joining where the night and day meet together. That is also not there. So that just to make it clear that when black and white meet, it becomes gray. So he says that it is neither gray also. So to say, in plain words, remind yourself the word ageya, unknowable. It's neither knowledge, it is nor ignorant, and nothing in between. And that's why It is unknowable. Okay. Let me take you to the next slide. Oh, before that, let me read the translation so that it is not that which is conscious of internal subjective world. Subjective world that you are the consciousness that you are not aware of. That nor that which is conscious of the external world. External world, anything beyond you. Nor that which is conscious of both internal and external. Nor that which is a mass of consciousness. Ghana, that word we learn. Nor that which is simple consciousness. And simple consciousness we also heard, we learned. Nor is it unconsciousness. It is neither consciousness nor unconsciousness. It is unseen by any sense organ, unperceivable. Your eyes don't see it. Beyond empirical dealing, empirical exchange of dealing. It's not even that. Incomprehensible by mind. Mind cannot comprehend. Uninferable, unthinkable, uninferable. We know the word infer, but let me tell you, you may not see the fire, but as soon as you see the smoke, you know that there will be fire. So you are inferring the presence of smoke to be the presence of fire. You don't see fire, but you infer. So, but he says it's uninferable, unthinkable, indescribable, essentially by or of the self alone. Negation of all phenomena. Nothing, no thing, again understand, no thing can describe consciousness. The peaceful, the auspicious, and the non-dual. This is what is considered as the fourth or the Turiya state. Now, Turiya, and over you to decide in your mind the fourth one, which is present in all the three, without which the three cannot exist. Meaning you cannot have awake state if you are dead. If you are dead, you cannot have sleep state, and also you cannot have deep sleep state. So even though it says fourth state, that's why no name has been given. And in Sanskrit, fourth means Turiya. This is the Atman, and this is to be realized. This is the sutra of the sloka 7. And now to explain it, let me take you to then comes the question, who am I? What I am? Question, various ways come. Who is the knower? In other words, who is in the different stages? When you are awake, waker is the knower. Waker is the experiencer. When you are dreaming, dreamer is the experiencer. And when you are deep sleep, there is no experience but the sleeper. So it is the same person. Who am I? Known under three stages, you can be called waker, dreamer, or sleeper. And the stages are: when you're awake, you call waking world. When you're dreaming, you call dream world. And when you're sleeping, blankness, there is no word. You understand here? So it's just a sleeping blankness. The stages, when you are awake, is called waking stage. When you are dreaming, it's called dream stage. And when you are deep sleep, it is a deep sleep stage when you are sleeping. So this known and the stages, in that the big red question, who am I? Here comes this beautiful explanation. What is that fourth stage? If you take three different ornaments, necklace, bangles, and rings, each one has, each one of those three, necklace, bangle, and ring, each one has different functions. The necklace has to decorate the neck. Bangle has to decorate the wrist. And the ring has to decorate the finger. I call it decorate. There may be various functions. Let me not get into it. So you see the three ornaments: necklace, bangles, and ring. But then when you go to a goldsmith, goldsmith is not interested. When he sells you, he is selling you mainly for the price of gold. More than selling at the time, the craftsmanship comes into picture. But if you ever go to sell something to the gold buyer, it may be most beautiful, gorgeous, crafted necklace, bangles, or anything. He is not interested. He's only interested in how many grams or ounces of gold and what purity it is. That's all that he is interested. And for that, he may compensate you with some current pricing. So point I'm making is, dear friend, necklace, bangles, and rings, only common between these three is gold. Now understand that you try to take the gold out of it. Do you think the necklace will remain? Do you think the bangles remain? Or do you think the ring remain? No. What are those? Gold plus shape equals an article. Gold plus all those rings, and when they make a chain, so they give the shape of that gold. So gold plus shape is the article. Article meaning necklace, bangles, or rings. But then the beauty lies, you can keep the necklace, but you take the gold out of it. Do you think the shape will remain? And that is such a beautiful explanation. As soon as the consciousness is gone, Atman is gone, shape does not remain. But the shape is of no value. Then you cannot have awake state activity. You cannot have dream state activity. You also cannot have deep sleep activity. Even though there is none, but still, in order to experience these three, you got to have Atman in it. That gold in Sanskrit, in this scripture, is referred as Atman. And you will find various words like Brahman, Jiva, and of course Jiva has slightly different connotation. When Atman manifested into a being, it's called Jiva, taking the shape of. So you can say gold is gold, but when gold is given a shape, then you call it a chain, or you can call it a bangle, or you can call it a ring, and various other things. So when you hear the word Jiva, you need to know the difference. Atman is gold. And when it is manifested as a chain, I mean, when it is manifested with rings and given some shape, that manifested part is called a golden article or a chain. So that need to be understood with all this terminology. So let me take you back to the slide again. So again, the title we are seeking is Who Am I? And the fourth stage is a gold state, Turiya. And these are just convenience metaphor to understand necklace, bangles, and rings. These are the ornaments. And the ornaments is metaphorically talking about the three stages of our life, which is awake state, dream state, and deep sleep stage. But in all the three, if you are not awake, meaning in all the three stages, you take the gold out of it, nothing remains. So with these, let me see what the next slide shows. So in the Turiya state, instead of the who is the experiencer, who is the knower, then instead of the chain, we can say, oh, he is a waker because he is awake. He is a dreamer because he is dreaming. And he is a sleeper because he is neither seeing any dream nor seeing any wake up activity. But in all the three, Turiya is present. Understand, Turiya state is present. This is also interesting to know. When you're awake, you are ignorant of your true self. And as a result, you can make error. Understand? During the waking stage, Jagruta sthiti, you are ignorant of the self, so you can make mistake, error. During dream state too, you are still ignorant of your true self, the Atman. And as a result, you can still make a mistake. In the sleeper state, deep sleep, you are also ignorant, you are unaware of. But since there are no 19 mouths and 7 limbs present, you cannot make any mistake, no error. And in the Turiya state, you are not ignorant, you are aware of it. So you are not ignorant, and as a result, you cannot make any mistake. Mistake in the worldly affair, yes, but he is not subjected to happiness and unhappiness. It makes absolutely no difference. Let me conclude here with that what we call awake state, but we are really not awake because we are ignorant of Atman. So as a result, we think that I'm suffering, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, and we go through up and down cycle. During dream state also, we are ignorant of our true nature. So we make mistake. During deep sleep state, we are also ignorant, we are unaware of. But since you do not have those 7 limbs and 19 mouths active, you do not make any mistake. And in the Turiya state, which is present in all the 3, there is awareness of Atman. So there is no ignorance. And as a result, you know that you are not the doer. And as a result, you do not make any error. Dear friends, we'll go over a little more, and then we'll try to understand why this Mandukya Upanishad is talking about Om and what is Om. Let us end with Shantipat.
भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ